In today's webinar, we're going to talk about confidence, self-esteem, and self-efficacy. Because most of us get this wrong. Most of us get these things wrong because we think that we want self-confidence. A lot of the people I talk to over the phone, and especially now during the craziness that is happening in the world, I don't think we need to, I think you know what I'm talking about. All the craziness that is happening in the world, all the outside distractions. It's very easy for each and every single one to get caught up in it. And just the lockdown, just staying in quarantine has been very fatiguing for a lot of people, me included, make no mistake. But there is ways for us to move that and use that to opportunities instead of obstacles. Because in every obstacle there is an opportunity. And that's what we talked about in last week's webinar. And the thing is that when I'm doing the coaching and when I'm talking to most of you guys, it's a feeling of, oh wow, I really want, like what I hear a lot is like, what's your mental goal, right? Like I always say that BFit Essential, our discipline, dance specific training, is a diamond. And one corner is dancing, the other corner is mental discipline and mindset, the third corner is nutrition, and then the fourth one is obviously strength, aesthetics, dance specific training, right? And one of the things when I talk to most people is like, well, what are some of your mental discipline goals, like your mindset goals? It's like, I want to have better confidence. And it's like, okay, cool, what does that mean for you? And then when they start to explain confidence, it's like, but that's not really what self-confidence is. So we have a tendency to mess that up. And this is what I want to break down today, because self-confidence is something that it's very easy. It's very easy to develop your self-confidence. And you're going to understand what I mean with this, because this is a skill. Self-confidence is something that you deserve inside of a particular area in your life, right? So personally, I'm very confident. My self-confidence is very high when it comes to training dancers or dancing solo on stage. Like I'm not nervous. If you give me a professional dancer, or when I train, when I train Roncito, when I train Alemana, or when I train Judith, Karel, Veronica who's watching, I'm not nervous because I have high self-confidence in this, because I've been doing it for the longest time. I'm confident in my abilities because I've practiced this, all right? My confidence, my self-confidence in cooking is not that high. I'm not very skilled at it. It's gonna give me enough nutrients, enough fuel for my body, but it won't be very, very super good. All right? So self-confidence is something that you deserve. It's a skill that you deserve, or like a feeling that you discover. And it takes practice to get self-confidence in the individual skill that you want to develop. All right? So self-confidence is just about getting good at something. And I promise you guys that you're confident in a lot of things. And this is why I'm saying it's like, I don't think that when you say, I want to be more confident, you are thinking about being confident. I think you mean something else that we're going to run over a little bit later in this webinar. So I want everybody to write me one thing, one area in your life that you're confident in. Like I'm confident that I can host a webinar. I've been doing it every month, every week for the last 2 years. I'm pretty confident in that I have the ability to do that. What are some of the areas that you are confident in? Or some things that you are good at, or even decent at? Take your time, don't stress it here. I'm confident in teaching reading. I'm confident in my cooking. I'm confident when it comes to cooking or numbers. Those two things, that's my kryptonite, I tell you right now. Why is everybody confident in their cooking all of a sudden? You're giving me bad confidence right now. I'm confident in my cooking skills, dancing, gardening, and my people skills. I'm confident in my work, in my job with children, being there for people, and my work. Exactly. So if you want to sum up confidence in one phrase, it's like the belief of I can. Confidence is the belief of I can. Right? Some thumbs up so far if this is making sense. Things I'm confident is my knowledge of hip-hop culture, rap music, and I'm confident in my dancing skills. Great. So when it comes to confidence, and when you're telling me or when you're telling yourself, it's like, I want to be more confident. What you're really saying is that I want to have a skill, right? And usually that's not what you're meaning. Usually you are talking about like an internal feeling, usually. And then we also have something that's called self-efficacy, which is a very important thing. Self-efficacy is the belief in getting through hard things. It's like the belief that you can handle what life gives you. And it's based, your self-efficacy is based on your old experience, right? Have you anybody heard that word before, self-efficacy? Heads are nodding, beautiful. And what it is that your self-efficacy is, like I said, it's based on the old things that you were struggling with before, but came to a new spot. Like you confident that you can go through some shit and end up at a better spot. Lockdown number 1, for example. You went into lockdown, didn't really know this was completely new for you, you never experienced it before, all of a sudden you were in jail. Then you came out and wow, you overcame it. And I'm certain, I'm certain that 100% of each and everyone watching this live or watching the replay, I'm sure that you have a 100% success rate in getting over and surviving hard things. I'm 100% sure. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be watching this. Like it would be literally impossible. So when it comes to your self-efficacy, these are things that you need to remind yourself. You need to remind yourself constantly. And I call this, I say this like, this is the gangster shit I've been doing. That's how I say it. But the technique is called the cookie jar. If you ever read a book called Can't Hurt Me with David Goggins, fantastic book. And I tell you, don't read it, listen to the audiobook. Listen to the audiobook, fantastic audiobook. I listen to a lot of audiobooks and this is probably one of the best ones. And in that book, he's talking about, he's called his cookie jar. And his cookie jar is basically all the previous experiences that he had, all the crazy things, all the hardships, all the things that he was really struggling with and the tough things. He has them in a jar and he writes them down. He writes them down on a little piece of paper, he folds it and puts it in the jar. And whenever he overcomes an obstacle, he writes it down and he puts it in the jar. Whenever he comes another obstacle, he writes that shit down and he puts it in the obstacle. And then every day he picks up a note and he reads it and it's like, damn, I really did that. That was me. That was nobody else. And then he folds it and he puts it back down and then he writes something else. And those things needs to be connected to your power phrase. You who've been taking the mental discipline program, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the power phrase. But to give it in a short explanation, your power phrase, it's what you tell yourself when you need to go into turbo mode. When you've been working 10 hours, but you still got to do your workout. When all of your grandchildren is bothering you, but you still got to do your workout. When you're going up on stage and you're fucking terrified, but you still got to perform. When you know you want to dance with whoever, but you're terrified of asking that person to dance with you. You know? At all the dance congresses, all of the artists, all of the artists is always the people that are standing. They're always standing close to the stage, right? Like, yeah, all the artists are dancing very close to the stage, and all the high-level dancers dancing like very close to the DJ. Then if you're a beginner, you're usually further in, or like further closer to the outside door for some reason. But sometimes you need to use the cookie jar. You need to remember all the things that you did and get your ass over there, and then use the power phrase to put you into the zone. Elinda is saying like the cookie jar is like a highlight reel of all his triumphs. Exactly. You need to remind yourself sometimes of all the shit you've been through. You need to remind yourself and really use that as, be proud of it. Like, everyone here have done some shit that most people, if they would have done it, they wouldn't have came out as good. It's just facts. Most of you guys have encountered and overcame things that another person would crumble from. But you don't remind yourself enough of that. You don't remind yourself about your self-efficacy, and you keep your self-efficacy low. And these are things we talk about more in the mental discipline program. And then again, your power phrase, to just wrap that up, is like, you put yourself in the zone. Your power phrase is to put yourself in the zone. When I say, let's go, champ, I don't talk to you. I keep saying it. When you hear me saying that in my training videos, I don't talk to you, I talk to myself. Because I'm about to die. Because if I'm recording a workout video, you need to remember that might be the 4th workout video I recorded for you guys that day. And I've done my own training. So it's like I'm dead when I'm doing these videos sometimes. So I need something to boost. I need something to boost myself. And it's great for you guys to hear it, because I call you guys champ all the time. What is being recorded, so I'm not going to say any names. Just write something that reminds you of that situation. It can be a word, it can be a phrase. Write out in the chat right now. I'm not going to read your name out loud. One sentence or one word that is something that you and only you, or write out in detail, will fit inside of your cookie jar. What is one thing that will fit inside of your cookie jar? Some gangster shit that you did, that you overcame, and you and only you were there to witness. Remember, I always say that your biggest wins happens in silence. That's exactly what this is. Your biggest wins always happens in silence. It's when nobody is there to watch. My biggest win is one of the biggest wins in my life is when I was depressed. I was alone in my home, smoking weed, just like hiding from the world. And I didn't do what I really wanted to do at that time. And I'm still here, and I kept fighting. That's my biggest win. But nobody was there to witness it. Me and only me know about those stories. Write out what goes inside of your cookie jar. And these are your biggest things. Like, the biggest things happens in silence is when nobody's there to watch. You can write something that only you understand, something like just one word, one phrase. If I want to say it, I would write just Arbinsgate is the address I used to live at. And me and only me know what happened there. My biggest win is getting rid of suicidal thoughts many years ago. My biggest win is leaving behind toxic people. I overcame fear of loss, abandonment, and self-doubt. I survived 7 years of being abused. These are wins. These are wins. And all of you guys have this. All of you guys have all of these incredible wins and things that you overcame, but you still doubt yourself. You still doubt yourself in doing like a 5-minute workout. But you did all of these crazy things that I just read. But how come your self-efficacy is low? Because you don't remind yourself enough about it. Discovering bachata sensual during the worst moment of my life, it turned it out to be something that changed my life forever. Being selfish with loving and taking care of myself. Things that I'm reading right now. They told me once, you got this, grow some balls. That phrase was spot on. I just needed to hear it to get out of the toxic relationships. You know? So you've done all of these things. All of these things you overcame. Why do you still doubt yourself? Cookie jar, baby. Cookie jar. Use the cookie jar. I have it written in an Excel sheet. Like I run over my cookie jar and I add things. I constantly add things. I constantly add things to that. So if you want to put self-efficacy in one phrase, like remember self-confidence is in one phrase is I can. Self-efficacy in one phrase will probably be I will. I will get through this. I will grow stronger from this. Because we are so stuck, most of us. We're so stuck, and we have so much doubt, so much fear and concerns inside of our brain. And it's like we worry about things that maybe might and could just make us uncomfortable. Like we are consciously making ourselves uncomfortable to prevent something that maybe could get us uncomfortable. But if you went through all of that shit that I just read out, like, forget it. If you overcame 7 years of abuse, if you overcame suicidal thoughts, if you found bachata sensual at that moment in life, if you came this and you did that, and you were conscious about it and you remember it, why are you gonna doubt yourself to ask somebody to dance? Why are you gonna doubt yourself to do a 5-minute workout? You got this. You got this. Did that make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Thumbs up if you're gonna do your cookie jar. Good. Good, good, good. And then we have the most important thing. The most important thing is what we think about when we are thinking, when we say, I want better confidence. You usually mean that you want better self-esteem. You want better self-esteem. You want to feel better about yourself. You want to feel that you're good enough. And most of us get this wrong. Because most of us are looking for outside things, external things to fix our inner world. So we become people pleasers. We are hustling for some type of worthiness. And raise your hand if you ever call yourself a perfectionist, because you guys are masters in this. You guys are masters in this. And I've been one of them. Make no mistakes, I've been one of them. Being a perfectionist is either your biggest curse or your biggest blessing. Because it's your dark side. It's the shit that took you to this webinar because you wanted to be better. But perfectionists have a very, very high tendency to procrastinate because they want things to be perfect. Right? So they become people pleasers. Like, okay, I don't feel worthy. Like, okay, cool, I gotta fix this. I gotta help this person. Okay, this person needs my help. Okay, but, yo, Sham, can you help me with this? I need help with blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. I don't have time because I need to study. I need to do this. I need to help this person. I need to call my mom. I need to do this. I need to do that. But yes, I got it. But we can't fulfill our insides with outside success. It has to come from us. Because all the things that happens on the outside, it doesn't, if you don't have like glue on the inside, and you just take a lot of external things inside, and you try to put them inside, it has nothing to stick to. All right? So we got to add something on the inside. We got to add some glue to the inside so we can actually stick to it. Reading here is like, I learned here through your coaching that good enough is better than perfect any day. Exactly. Did you do your workout? Yes, good enough. I have no bad workouts. I have no good workouts. I have workouts. I have workouts. How did it go? How was it? It was good. I worked out. That's my goal. Did I break any personal records? Maybe. I don't even know. I might be the only trainer who have no idea how much he weighs. I have no idea. It can be 85. It can be 91. I don't really care. Lucy's saying, I have painful workouts. It's good. It's because you have big goals. You know what I mean? But this makes sense, right? I feel like all of this makes total sense. Like your self-esteem is like, you're not trying to prove anything to anyone. It's like feeling good enough is a decision. It's not a destination. It has to come from the inside. It's a decision that I'm good enough no matter what the outside world thinks of me. I feel that I'm good enough if there is 2 people on this webinar, if there is 87 people on this webinar, if there is 1 person on the webinar, whatever is going through. Whatever is going through, I feel good. Why? Because I feel that I provide value to the world. And it boosts my self-esteem. So, if you want to put that in one phrase, self-esteem, it's I am. Self-esteem is I am. Self-efficacy is I will. Self-confidence is I can. All right? All of this is making sense so far, correct? Perfect. Now comes the most important part of this webinar. Most of us have the tools now to develop your self-confidence because you understand that that's a skill. That's a skill that you need to develop in each and every single particular area of your life. Then we have self-efficacy that you need to develop inside of yourself. And you and only you can do that. And then we use the cookie jar example, we use the power phrase to get us there. Now, self-esteem, however, it's a little bit more tricky. It's a little bit more tricky. And I read a fantastic book from a guy called Nathaniel Branden. I don't know. He's American, but Nathaniel Branden. And he calls this the 6 pillars of self-esteem. I've broken them all down, and this is what we're going to run over right now. Okay? If you're watching this on Instagram and you want to join us, I'll leave you guys with a cliffhanger. Hit the link in my bio and join us in the webinar. Don't be shy. Join us. We are waiting for you by Dancers with Dancers. Bam. 6 pillars. We ready? Here we go. Pillar number 1 is the practice of living consciously. Let's say we have 2 people. The practice of living consciously. One man or one woman, we have 2 different women. One woman wakes up conscious. Wakes up, hugs her husband, kisses her children, eats breakfast in ease. Don't check her Instagram the first thing she's doing. Don't give a fuck about her Facebook for the first hour. She's present. She goes to work. She has engaging conversation. She's there. She's conscious. She comes home. She hugs her children and have a good meal with her man, being conscious of what the fuck is happening. Then on the other side, you have a person who's living unconsciously. First thing she do when she wakes up, she looks at her phone. She goes to work. She listens to music. She's out in the blue. She comes to work. She don't really like her work. Then she goes over to her. When she comes home, she has dinner with her family, but she's just watching television at the same time. Who do you think is living consciously? Obviously, person number one. Living consciously, I promise you, will boost your self-esteem. Being present in the moment, listening when somebody's talking. This is the best example. That's tip number one. That's one of the 6 pillars. Practice of living consciously. Then we have practice number 2. Practice number 2 is practice of self-improvement. Self-improvement means that improving what you accept you can't. Improve what you can and accept what you cannot. All right? The practice of self-improvement is that you focus on what you can, and then you accept the things that you cannot. If you cannot do it, you cannot do it. And most people believe that self-acceptance versus self-improvement, that self-improvement comes first, but self-acceptance comes first, and then comes self-improvement. I accepted when I was 20. When I was 20, I accepted it's like, shit, I'm getting thin. My hair is getting thin. And then I went, so self-acceptance went to self-improvement. My hair is getting thin, I'm getting bald. So I started looking into self-improvement. What can I eat? What am I missing in my diet? Is there supplements I can take? And then I went back to self-acceptance and said, fuck it. Let me just shave my head instead because this is getting ridiculous. But it all started with self-acceptance. That's the 6th pillar. You got to accept who you are, and then you got to search for the improvement, and then you got to focus on what you can control, not what you cannot control. It's raining outside. It has nothing to do with me. I cannot control it. The world is upside down. We're in lockdown. I cannot control that. But what I can do is how I react inside of lockdown. Am I going to lay on my back like a fucking victim? Which is okay if you want to do that. If that's you, go ahead. I'm not judging anybody. But me personally, I'd rather work on myself. You know? Like I'd rather use that as an opportunity. It's like, shit, let me just see how many people I can inspire during lockdown instead. Because that's my mission, but it's because I know my movie ending. That's the 2nd pillar, or 3rd pillar. 2nd. 3rd pillar, the practice of self-responsibility. You got to take responsibility over yourself, your inner world, your health. Some of us here have struggled with health before. Physical health, mental health, overweight, depression. That's your responsibility. This is your responsibility, and that's why you're here, because you're a fucking champ. Because you came to a moment in your life when you were like, no, enough. Enough. I need to take responsibility for this. You loving yourself, that's your responsibility. That's not my responsibility. I'm gonna do absolutely everything I can use every tool in my arsenal or in my tool belt for you to do that and get to that next level, because that's what the coach is doing. But it comes down to you. You get to do the work. This is what I keep saying, is like, I'm not gonna do your push-ups. Trust me, nobody in this webinar, watching the replay, nobody in our movement, in our community, will do your workout, will do your push-up, because we are all busy. We're all busy doing our own workouts. Like we're all busy doing, like I don't have time to do your push-ups. I'm fucking busy doing my own. We're all gonna share there, stand there and clap our hands and just boost you as much as we can. But you need to take that responsibility to do your own workouts. And that's pillar number 3. Pillar number 1, the practice of living consciously. Pillar number 2 is the practice of self-improvement. Pillar number 3 is the practice of self-responsibility. Then pillar number 4, that's the practice of self-assertiveness. I'm 100% authentic. I'm 100% authentic. 99.9. Like, I curse if I'm here. If I feel like cursing, I'm cursing. If I'm feeling like cursing when I'm with my family, I'll do that. My beliefs in mankind is the same if I'm with you or if I'm with I have the same clothes when I'm with you guys or when I'm with my grandmother. I say the same things. I look the same. I speak the same. Because if you don't fuck with me, don't worry about it. Nobody needs to fuck with me. As long as I fuck with me. As long as I'm happy with who I am. Because I love Sebastian. Like, I love Sebastian to a level that nobody can reach that level. Nobody can reach that level. And some people may say that's ego, and I just say that you don't love yourself enough. Like, you don't, like, I think I'm dope. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been like this my whole life. Like, I was never scared. You know when you were a kid and you met the parents of your girlfriend or your partner, like your boyfriend, something like that? Like, I was never scared. Like, I was never scared to meet the big brother. I was never scared to meet my girlfriend's dad or something. Because I think I'm awesome. I think if I had a daughter, I would want her to meet a character like me. So I know who I am. That's self-assertiveness. All right? It's like you need to be grounded in your principles and values, like no matter what's going on. And that's again, like principles and values and your personal principle and your personal values. These are things that we are talking about in the mental discipline program that's coming up. Like, we're gonna dive deep into them so you understand what's your principles, not my principles. I don't want you to care about my principles. I want you to care about your own principles. And that's pillar number 4, the practice of self-assertiveness. Then we have pillar number 5. We have 2 pillars left. We have pillar number 5, which is the practice of living purposefully. The practice of living purposefully. I think that's how you say it. Living with a purpose. Thank you, Erlinda. Yeah, I need to take speech classes with Erlinda. I tell you, living with a purpose makes you go through shit. It makes you go through hardships, heavy, and move you forward. It makes you, it's me sitting here on a Sunday, been working for about 12 hours right now. After this webinar is done, I got another 2 hours of coaching calls on a Sunday versus me working at McDonald's. But me with a vision, working purposefully, that was what made me be able to work as a waiter for years, traveling to different countries to do, like getting next to no money, because I was so much on the purpose, my vision, my movie ending. Another thing we're going to talk about in the mental discipline program, to develop your own movie ending. That was so clear for me, so it was so worth it. It was so worth it. It's like working for a purpose versus just working in a corporate job that you don't really care about. But even that can become a purpose for you if you truly understand, why are you there? Why are you there? Why are you working in this shit job that you don't even like? I'm doing that because my purpose is this. And this shit that I'm going through is allowing me to get here, my movie ending, faster. The practice of living with a purpose. And then we have the last one. And I'm not sure when Nathaniel wrote these ones, if this was the most important one. I just know for me, it touched me the most. I believe each and every one of these ones are equally as important, but this one touched me the most. And it's the practice of personal integrity. And it's personal integrity. Because there are a lot of silly rules like right now. There is a lot of silly rules going on in the world that I don't care if I break these rules. I don't give two F's about it. When I lived in Barcelona, we had a rooftop. It was only me and the people who lived in my house, in my apartment, that used it. But they made it illegal to go up on the roof. And this is during lockdown. Like, imagine you're locked inside your apartment. I was locked up for 50 days. I left it twice to go to the store. Then we go up on the roof, and I could get fined $600 for that shit. I don't give a F. I don't care nothing about those rules, because it doesn't hurt my personal integrity. So it's personal integrity. For some other people, that might be like a real thing, like they don't want to break. Now again, we did the flatten the curve challenge. You know what I mean? And I mean, no sense like saying go out and do silly shit now. It's like, let's listen to scientists. Maybe not politicians right now, but let's at least listen to scientists. Listen to what they are saying. But for me to break my own promises to myself, that's when your inner voice is starting to bother you. When you break something that is breaking your personal integrity, that's when your inner voice is like starting to scream at you. When you promised yourself that you were gonna wake up 5:30 to train, but you hit snooze twice. When you said that you were gonna do your workouts when you get home, now all of a sudden you're in bed and you didn't do your workouts. When you're breaking those personal integrities, your self-esteem is just getting lower and lower and lower, and you do that again and again, and then all of a sudden you forget that you did all of that crazy shit that's inside of the cookie jar, and you feel so bad about yourself. You don't even believe that you can do a 5-minute workout, even though you went through 7 years of hardship. Even though you proved to yourself over and over again. And that's why it's so important that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, regardless of what's happening. The practice of personal integrity. And it requires like all of these things, right? All of these things that we talked about. 6 pillars of self-esteem. Practice of living consciously. Practice of self-improvement. The practice of self-responsibility. The practice of self-assertiveness. The practice of living purposefully. And the practice of personal integrity. What do all of these things have in common? What does all of these have in common? It's like yoga. It's like meditation. It's like dance-specific training. It requires you to practice it. It's a practice. It's not a one-time thing. You can't master yoga. Like, who are you to say that you mastered yoga? It's like, he's a master in bachata. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? So you master the culture? Like, how on earth are you going to master a culture? Like, just you thinking that just means that you're not a master. Like, I mastered yoga. No, wait, what? Like, this is, you need constantly, that's why I can write all the time, stay sharp. You got to stay sharp. You got to practice this day in and day out. These are practices. It requires constant practice. Like, if anybody done martial arts, you know, like, yeah, you can get to black belt, you know what I mean? Most people think that, yeah, like, whoa, he's a black belt in taekwondo or karate or something. But if you're into martial art, you understand that just you got a black belt, it doesn't mean shit. Because there is levels to black belt. You can have first dan, second dan, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 7th dan. So it's a practice. All of these things are things we constantly need to practice. We're about to wrap this up, but I feel it's so important to understand these things, right? Let me know. Any questions on this? Any questions on this, or any Any questions on this? Let me know in the chat. If not, let me know what has been the most helpful so far with this webinar. It's not finished, but I must say this webinar is done. Wow. I always live by the saying, I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm a master of none. I'm always learning. I love that saying. I always say, if you know me deep, I'm saying that I'm the Joker. Like I'm the most powerful card in the deck. The people think like, yeah, I'm the king, I'm the queen or the ace. Like I'm the Joker. I can become whichever card I want, whenever I want. Most helpful has been to remember to think back of everything that I overcame. The pillars, for sure. Breaking down self-confidence. The 6 pillars are a great blueprint that will help me in my journey. No matter what we do, we are students first. Exactly. And I'm beating on this today. I'm beating on this. But these are things that we're running over in the mental discipline program. These are things running over the mental discipline program. And the mental discipline program is starting the next Sunday. It's going to be this webinar, and then straight after it's going to be the mental discipline program. All right? So we're going to have 1 hour of like general talks, whatever subject is going on next week. And then we have the mental discipline program. And it's a 4-week program with constant seminars, 4 different seminars, 4 different challenges, 4 different assignments that I give you. And I promise you guys, if you want to take control of this thing right here, the mental discipline program, if you dare to do it, if you dare to dive deeper in yourself, it will take you to the next level. I'm certain that it will. It's my favorite thing to do, but it's my worst thing to do because it takes so much time and it takes so much of my mind power to do it. But I promise you, it's worth it. Do we have anyone here who did the mental discipline program? Veronica did the mental discipline program. Sham, can you say real quick, like, how was that experience? Is it okay if you share that with us?
Yeah, I can. It was hard as fuck. No, but in a good way, because it just makes you conscious about certain stuff. About stuff it's hard to pinpoint your finger about what's going on, but you feel it going on in your life, in your inner world, but you don't know exactly what. And the mental program, it helped me a lot with the fact of getting tools and exercises to pinpoint what I need to work on and actually work on that. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Like short.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that makes me really happy. Round of applause, Veronica, god damn it. And yeah, you passed everything. I remember you even passing to the next level in your school, and like you made that big audition and everything. So I tell you guys, the mental discipline program, it will take you to the next level. Lucy's asking, I want to join. How much is it and how do I pay to join? Check inside of, since you're in the inner circle, all the inner circle students have a different deal. Go inside of the inner circle and watch the video I uploaded, right? And if not, send me a DM. We had Erlinda did it also. Let's see. Erlinda, are you here? Are you here with us? Are you busy right now? Maybe she's busy. Anywho, if you want to join the mental discipline program, go inside of www.getdisciplinedtoday.com. Right? Roncito saying he just signed up. Jennifer saying this webinar is dope. Awesome. Thank you so much. Katja is saying, thank you very much. This was something I really needed. It was an important topic that was pointed out. It made me rethink. That's beautiful. Guys, I tell you, If you want to join this thing and take yourself to the next level, we hit www.getdisciplinedtoday.com. If you're watching the replay, there will be a link somewhere that you can join the next season. This is the 3rd season that I'm running it. And unless you guys have any questions, I'm gonna call it a day. I have 2-3 coaching calls coming up. I got tons of work to do, so it's getting late. Here we go. I'm gonna say bye dancers, you're gonna say for dancers, unmute yourself, god damn it, and then we're out. Then we're out for the day. Okay. Yo, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this Sunday webinar and this thing in particular. I had a great time. Creating this webinar. So thank you for joining me and giving me purpose. All right, familia, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. I could not be here without you guys. Remember, as always, bye dancers. Yeah, let's go. All right, talk to you soon. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.